Hello, I'm Chris. Paul wants to do a mock driving test, and I've never met him before, so let's find out a bit more about his driving experience.
So I've been driving for years in Nigeria. I drove a bit when I got here as well with my international driver's license, but after that expired. But I was driving in Hull. Mm-hmm. Hull is not quite as big as London, and not as busy as well, so you can get away with a few things, you know.
And when is your test?
It's on the 30th of October, so I have about a month and a few days to go. So I've been driving privately with my cousin, just been doing private lessons in and around our area. No professional lessons, so I'm sure there are things I do wrong that he might not even know that I'm doing wrong as well, because he's had his for a while now, so yeah.
And do you feel like you could pass the driving test?
Well, you're never 100% sure with these things, so I say 70%.
Okay.
In and around, yeah. But again, well, this will show me how far I am or how bad I am in any case, yeah.
You're allowed up to 15 driving faults during the test, often called minor faults. These aren't potentially dangerous, but if you keep making the same fault throughout your test, then it could become a serious fault. Get a serious or dangerous fault and it's a driving test foul. A serious fault is something that could potentially be dangerous, and a dangerous fault involves actual danger to either yourself, the examiner, another person or property. Have a look at our free online driving modules on our website for tips on how to deal with junctions, roundabouts, and the different driving test manoeuvres. Don't forget, it's completely free. There's a link in the description below. Let's catch up with Paul as he's about to start his mock driving test. So we're going to start from here.
Okay.
I'd like you to follow a series of directions given by the sat-nav. Before we start though, I'm going to ask you a tell me question. Tell me, how would you check the tyre tread depth, and what's the legal minimum you should have?
Okay, so you would have to ensure that the tyre tread depth within and on the outside it's 1.6 mm, and that there are no cuts or there are no bulges on the tyres.
And what would you check the tyre tread depth with?
I think you could put your finger in it to see. I think there's a tape or something. I'm not quite sure.
So you measure it with your finger?
Yeah, to see how deep it goes.
Drive on when you're ready. Okay. I'll let you know when independent driving is finished.
Okay.
You check the tyre tread depth with a tyre tread depth gauge. Paul didn't answer this correctly, which is a driving fault. Now, Paul hasn't driven this car before, so it's only fair that I helped and told him how to start it.
I'm quite sure the car started, yes.
Okay, so to start the car, you have to press down the clutch.
Oh, as well.
And then press the start button, okay. Paul hasn't had any driving lessons with an instructor before, so I'm really interested to see how he gets on today. And I hope he does well, as he's got his real driving test coming up soon. He's checked all around, but he hasn't prepared the car to go yet, which means he'll have to observe all around again for the most up-to-date information, which he did.
After 80 yards, turn left.
Good checks of the mirrors before the signal. The signal was a tiny bit early, but it didn't confuse anyone.
Turn left.
You should always double check to the right in case you've missed someone. Double checking a bit earlier would have been safer, and having quicker glances rather than big stares would also help keep you up to date with your surroundings. Not quite worth a driving fault this time, but bear in mind that the #1 reason why people fail their driving test is not observing properly at junctions.
Road, turn left.
And it's also a big cause of accidents.
Turn left.
Paul's positioned well, but wasn't quite ready to go at this clear junction. Although he didn't take the first safe opportunity, there's no one behind, so it's not worth a fault this time. But if he keeps stopping unnecessarily, then he will get driving faults, and he could end up failing for this. Always plan to stop, but be prepared to go, as it might be safe to go without stopping.
After 200 yards, turn right, then turn left.
The sat-nav doesn't know there's a mini roundabout ahead, but does tell Paul to turn right. Before moving back to the left after parked vehicles, you should check the interior and left mirror. This is a driving fault as there could be a cyclist on your left.
Turn right, then turn left.
Okay, you've gone off route. Don't worry, I'll direct you. You can ignore the sat-nav just for a moment. Paul approached that roundabout too fast. It seemed like it surprised him. He approached at around 20 miles per hour without having the foot brake ready. If there was someone there on the right, then he wouldn't have been able to stop in time. This is a serious fault. You're not allowed any serious faults, so unfortunately, this is a driving test foul. Look out for the mini roundabout sign and markings. Paul's gone off the test route, which wouldn't be a fault on the driving test as long as you're driving safely and legally. The examiner or sat-nav will just direct you back on
100
route.
yards, turn left.
Good mirror checks.
Turn left.
Paul does the right thing and safely gives way to the pedestrian.
After 200 yards, turn left, then turn right.
Paul signalled too early.
At the end of the road, okay.
This is a driving fault as other drivers might think he's parking or turning into a drive. Good mirror checks before moving out. Now he signalled at the right time.
Turn left, then turn right.
Good observations, and he's ready to take the first safe opportunity. We're heading back to the same mini roundabout. Hopefully this time he's going to turn right. Before moving back to the left after the parked vehicles, Paul should have checked the interior mirror as well as the left mirror for any cyclists.
Turn right, then turn left.
Paul turned right, but went in an anti-clockwise direction round the roundabout. You should drive round roundabouts in a clockwise direction. This is a serious fault.
Turn left.
Paul forgot to check the mirrors before signalling. You might need to drive over mini roundabouts a little if there's an obstruction in the way, but this time there wasn't.
I think I went through the roundabout as against going round the roundabout.
Paul's got a good road position, ready for any oncoming traffic that might come over his side.
After 200 yards, turn right.
Good mirror checks.
Turn right.
He positions well and doesn't cut the turn. On a road like this, plan ahead and look out for any spaces that you could use.
After 200 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
I'm pleased that Paul remembered to check the mirrors before moving back to the left, and he checked the mirrors before moving back out again for anyone overtaking.
Go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
He's approaching this roundabout a lot better than the previous one, and takes a good safe opportunity.
After 100 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the third exit. Go right right on the roundabout and take the third exit.
Paul's turning right at the roundabout, third exit, and should be indicating right on the approach so that other road users know where he's going. He hasn't. This is a serious fault. Before you signal, check the mirrors first to make sure it's safe. Good mirror check before slowing down. Paul tries to change up to second gear, but ends up in fourth. He realises and tries again. Fourth gear again. Now he's got it.
Then there was a time I was struggling with the gears. I thought I was on 2, but I was on 4. So I kept on trying to put it there.
Got to remember that Paul hasn't had any driving lessons with an instructor or driven his car before.
Turn left.
Good mirror checks and signal timing. Driving can be unpredictable, but keep planning ahead and be ready for anything. Paul's leaning over, trying to get the best view. A nice slow approach to give the other driver a chance to move over so that Paul can proceed. Pull up on the left in a safe place, please. You can ignore the driveways for now. Good mirror checks. You'll be asked to pull up on the left about 5 times. If the examiner doesn't tell you to ignore the driveways, then make sure that you don't block them. Drive on when you're ready. Good parking. Paul checked the blind spot too early, before he's ready to go. Check the blind spot just before you move off for the most up-to-date information. Otherwise, things may have changed around you. This is one of the steepest hills in the area. Let's see how he deals with it. A slight delay moving off, but otherwise a good hill start. Paul got so close to a parked vehicle that the collision detection system started beeping.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
This is a serious fault. He now needs to follow the road ahead of the roundabout, second exit. Paul will need to keep in the left-hand lane. Unfortunately, he moved over to the right, which could affect someone turning right next to him. This is a serious fault. When it's safe, can you show me how you demist the rear window, please?
Should have been that bit before I started. I'm not quite sure what it is in this car. The rear window. Okay, that's it.
The rear window.
It's on.
After 300
Thanks.
yards, turn right.
You can turn it back off now, please. Paul had to show how to demist the rear window, but press the button for demisting the front windscreen.
Sorry, I'm not quite sure where it is in the car. I should have asked before we started.
This would have been a driving fault, but he didn't answer the tell me question correctly at the start, so we can't get any more driving faults for this.
Turn right.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I missed it.
We've gone off-road, I'll just direct you for a moment. Although Paul missed the turn, I'm pleased he didn't turn at the last moment and do something potentially dangerous. The next road on the right, please. Okay, don't worry. It's alright, carry on. Turn right at the traffic lights, please.
Okay. Sorry, I keep.
Don't worry.
Saying.
Don't forget that if you miss your turn, then the examiner will help and direct you.
Turn left, then...
I've told Paul to ignore the sat-nav and to turn right at these traffic lights, which he did safely. If you do make any mistakes, try to regain your focus. Paul forgot to check the mirrors before moving out around the parked vehicles. You can follow the sat-nav again now, please.
The turn the sat-nav was telling me to take, I felt it was too close for me to take it. So, so that's why I think I missed it.
Turn right.
It seems that Paul doesn't look at the sat-nav very much. It's a good idea to occasionally glance at the screen. At the top of it, you'll see where you're going next, and how far away it is. You can ignore the sat-nav for a moment. The sat-nav is confused, so I'll have to direct him. Don't worry, the squirrel made it across the road. Pull up on the left in a safe place, please.
After 200 yards, turn right, then turn around when possible.
The reverse parking exercise, I'd like you to drive alongside that car in front,
Okay.
and then reverse back in within the space of 2 car lengths, please, so you end up reasonably close to the curb and parallel with it.
Okay, the black car, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
when you're ready. If there's a vehicle approaching from behind like there was, then just like Paul's doing, don't start the manoeuvre. Otherwise you get in their way and they might stop right behind you and you won't be able to reverse. Paul's never driven this car before, so I had to tell him how to select reverse. To select reverse, you have to lift up a metal collar, okay?
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Good all-round checks before reversing. He'll have to do the same again before steering into the space. Before steering, you must check the blind spot over your right shoulder, mirrors, and the rear window to make sure it's safe, as the front of the car will swing out when you turn. Paul didn't do these checks, which is a serious fault on observations. I'm pleased Paul spotted the car behind and waited. Good all-round observations. It's a shame he didn't do this before steering into the space as well. Now he has to park the car within the space of 2 car lengths. Paul should have stopped here. He's actually parked okay, but he just didn't stop reversing. I had to tell him to stop and explain that he has to do it within the space of 2 car lengths. Drive on when you're ready, please. Paul's now back to following the sat-nav. Be careful when driving around right-hand bends not to turn too early and cut the corner. You can see here how Paul is driving into this central area, which could be dangerous if there's oncoming drivers doing the same thing. Paul got a serious fault for his driving position earlier on, so no more faults are recorded in this category.
After 300 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit, then take the third right.
The sat-nav has told Paul to cross the roundabout and take the second exit. At the top of the screen it shows a little picture of a roundabout with an arrow pointing ahead.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit, then take the third right.
But when you get closer to the roundabout you can see that the exit is to the right, and he should signal right on the approach to tell other road users that he's turning right. Earlier he received a serious fault for not signalling when necessary, so no more faults are recorded in this section. But it just shows how the sat-nav doesn't give the full information, and it's well worth checking the layout of the roundabout. But don't signal if it would be confusing or unnecessary.
After 90 yards, turn right. Turn right.
Should have turned right there.
Okay, you've gone off route.
Yeah.
That's the end of independent driving. I'll direct you from here.
Okay. I went off roads too many times.
Paul missed another turn, but I'm really pleased he didn't turn at the last second and do something dangerous. Although he definitely needs a bit more practice with the sat-nav. Don't forget, you won't fail your test for missing a turn, as long as you're driving safely and legally. I'm sure Paul's quite happy now that the independent driving has finished, no more sat-nav, and I'm going to direct him from here. This cycle lane has a broken line, so Paul can drive in it if it's safe and necessary. But before driving into the cycle lane, have a check of the interior and left-hand mirror for any cyclists. Paul did the right thing to drive into the cycle lane to avoid the oncoming traffic, but should have checked the mirrors first. At the roundabout, follow the road ahead, please, second exit. You should check the interior mirror before slowing down to ensure you're aware of the traffic behind you and can adjust your speed safely. The bus is sticking out slightly, so I'm pleased he didn't keep to the left, but he should have checked the mirrors before signalling. Paul's driving at a good speed and keeping a safe distance from the car in front. At the roundabout, turn left, first exit, please. Paul checked the mirrors and signalled, but there's another road here that he doesn't want, which makes the signal a bit confusing. He should have signalled after passing the road. He takes a good opportunity and keeps left. Paul has to take the next road on the right. He checks the mirrors and signals in good time. He also positions well in the centre for turning right. Good mirror checks. Don't forget, Paul hasn't had any driving lessons in this country before, but does have an actual driving test coming up very soon. Again, good checks of the mirrors. He just needs to make this a habit. Pull up on the left in a safe place, please. The examiner will ask you to pull up on the left a few times to see how safely you pull up and move off again. Good parking. Drive on when you're ready. Good blind spot check. And moved off safely. Paul has to take the next road on the left. As always, keep planning ahead and try and anticipate what could happen next. Paul did the right thing in slowing down and being ready to stop. He made sure it was safe and continued. At the end of the road, turn left and then turn right, please. So left, then right. Good mirror checks. Paul does the right thing, stopping for the pedestrians, but moves off before the pedestrians have completely crossed the zebra crossing. This is a serious fault. Pedestrian behaviour can be unpredictable. They might suddenly stop or change direction.
I think I waited, but I did not wait until they finished crossing. So as in, yeah, they were on the other side of the road, but I knew that. I think I knew that as well. Yeah, I was like, oof, where have I gone?
Pedestrians have priority at junctions, but you mustn't wave them across, as you might wave them into danger. If you wave at pedestrians to cross the road on the driving test, then you would foul the whole test, as this is a serious fault. Pull up on the left in a safe place, please. You can ignore the driveways for now. Okay, that's the end of the test, so you can switch off now. So, how do you feel you done then? Do you think you passed or failed?
I think I failed. I don't know. At the back of my mind, I don't want to say pass. So I think it's safe to say.
Paul wasn't successful today, but we had a chat about what happened so he can learn from it. And he really did learn from it, because the good news is that Paul went on to pass his real driving test with just one driving fault. Congratulations, Paul, and thanks a lot for taking part in this mock test. Watch this video next if you've got problems with road positioning. Thanks for watching, please give it a like if it helped, and subscribing really helps us make more videos. In the meantime, take care on the road, and bye for now.